Hi, and thank you very much for hosting us and letting myself and my colleagues present today. I'm here on behalf of myself, Dr. George Woods, Dr. Pamela Murray. Christy is also with us, and we are also here in lieu of Dr. James McKenna. We have a very exciting collaboration across the UK and the US, and we are delighted to showcase what we've done, how we've worked together, and how we're moving forward from here. The purpose of our presentation is to explore complexities of what we did when we were looking into how to develop motor competence through elementary and middle school, basically Key Stage 3 in the US, and how we use constraints in order to reflect upon how to make changes to amend it for an English rendition. We did use constraints because the physical education offered by US national and state guidelines in the US are slightly more than those in England. So we did notice that philosophically they are very much aligned through enabling children to become motor competent so that they can lead very rich lives and be physically active. So we used constraints. We looked at national and state guidelines, and our premise is that every child has the right to become motor competent. And of course, through physical education, we wish to scaffold that opportunity and then hopefully extend that through the wider curriculum and out into the community. So physical education for us is of prime importance. And of course, what we're doing is complementing that with self-agency and opportunities for children to develop that autonomy as they move forward. Our focus in order to do that was a program which empowers children of all abilities, which basically states that your body is the most important instrument, it's the most important affordance that you have. And in order to engage with the environment in meaningful ways, you have to be stable and control what you got in essence. So we started with quite a traditional approach to teaching things from a core level, just a basic iterations. The typical movements you might think for squat, lunges, curl-ups, V-sits. Essentially, we visited areas of lower body, trunk for the middle, and upper body, and we progressed those skills along a series which started with the body, the resistance weight being the focus, and then if and when children were ready and young adults were ready, they would move forward to their affordance with an elastic, and then again, if they were ready, they would move forward to suspension trainer. Across our notebooks, all of our students would have a setup whereby they would basically see the basic skill of focus. For example, this one is a bicep curl, and then they would get the descriptor, primary, secondary muscles, and then they would see it progressed from the second iteration with the resistance band and the third with the suspension bicep. Most importantly, however, we do recognize that stability and motor competence is ultimately important. So if our participants could have that at either one or two of our first iterations, they didn't have to go through to the third. It was developmentally appropriate and therefore inclusive to students of all needs. Our resistance 3, we used in primary school, elementary and middle school. So key stages 1, 2 and 3. And we noted that in our South Texas environment, it was far more easily situated. Of course, for our elementary, we only needed to go through our one and our first and our second version. So our resistance 1 with the body and our second with elastic or another affordance. It was only in key stage 3 in middle school that we were able to bring in the stability support from the resistance trainer. What we did was we piloted it all from earlier work, of course, but also with our student teachers. And then we took it out to our local schools and just had them make sense of it to see how they could embed it through their physical education and be tested thereafter through what we were doing. We did find from across this academic year, from before to after the whole academic year, that their fitness for 1, 2, 3 groups, so about 750 students, did improve. However, that of the control, which was a true control, significantly came down. So for our first display, we have the resistance program across a variety of elementary, middle schools, and everybody got fitter by way of the fitnessgram from discrete and collective assessments. And then we noted that metacognition, their awareness of their learning did improve for most of the renditions, not significantly so. Again, the control also went down without any input into that. And their motivation definitely went down, significantly so. So yeah, they sure got fitter, but yes, I'm not sure they engaged or enjoyed that. Lessons learned, we went back to the drawing table, we looked at the constraints led, and we looked at the fact that it was far more complex, which relates and aligns with a lot of more recent research up to 2018, where of course a lot of students aren't really enjoying bespoke fitness, but do like it along the way. And we decided, following a pilot rather than having a control, that we would look at fitness, and following the pilot of 143 pupils in England, it wasn't worth doing their fitness because that wasn't being impacted. Metacognition, their awareness of what they were learning, did significantly improve. Their motivation significantly did so. And their physical activity patterns at lunchtime did so. And I think drawing from these two displays, there's a lot of discussion to be had as regards when you've got PE in time, in class time, and it's very much directed, as we found with display 1 in South Texas, and display 2 when we're in South London. We basically used the limited PE and allocated time for that academic subject to just go over, do an overview, and basically to train peers in upper elementary so that they could then work with their peers in at recess time, at playground time. And so what we found is the metacognition motivation did significantly improve, and they were more active because they had a bit more ownership along the way. And the teachers seemed to be more akin to teaching the agency and the autonomy through the subject knowledge rather than keeping a bit more teacher directed.
So in terms of our next steps and our moving forwards and what we're going to do next is we're going to return to South Texas, and in which we're going to look in particular at the health and wellness of the children and the fundamental motor competencies through the metacognitive approach that we've learned about from the UK, and look in particular at the early years and the elementary age phase, which we didn't look at previously. This is perfectly timed because of the constraints that we currently have in everyone's environments, and it will help develop agency skills, autonomy skills, and give us much more of a chance for children to engage and have a lifelong and life-wide physical activity. And also, we hope to and aim to influence our national task force, which has just been developed in the UK for physical education.
Yeah, thanks, Kirsty. So that's the essence of where we've been. We've got a big thanks to all of our students and all of our teacher educator collaborators. We're very proud that we've got these collaborations, and we are looking for further sponsorship. We have some initial work, but these are extraordinary times. We're aware that all children have this right, and so from us it's a social justice perspective, and we're just delighted to get any of your insights and wisdom therein. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, and we look forward to your questions and feedback. Thank you.